In a small corner of the galaxy, a peaceful human colony called New Hope thrived under the light of two bright suns. Families lived together, growing crops and raising children. They believed they were safe from the dangers of the universe. But one day everything changed. The day began like any other. Mia, a bright-eyed girl of 8, played in the fields with her friends, her laughter ringing through the air. She loved running barefoot through the grass, feeling the warm sun on her face. But as she twirled in the sunshine, dark shadows began to cover the land. Suddenly, the ground shook. The sky turned dark as enormous ships descended from above, blocking out the suns. The Galactic Empire had arrived. Their ships were like monsters, huge and terrifying, with sharp edges and bright lights. The people of New Hope stared in shock and fear. They had heard stories about the Empire, how they took over planets and treated people like dirt. But no one expected them to come here. Mia's mother, Sarah, rushed outside, panic in her eyes. "Everyone, get inside! Now!" she shouted, her voice trembling. The happy sounds of the village quickly turned into screams of fear as families ran for shelter. Mia grabbed her little brother, Alex, and held his hand tightly. She could feel his small body shaking beside her. As they ran towards their home, explosions rocked the village. The Empire's soldiers landed with a loud thud, their heavy boots stomping on the ground. They wore dark armor and had fierce expressions. Their eyes scanned the area, looking for anyone who dared to resist. Mia's heart raced. She had never seen anything like this before. "Stay close to me!" Sarah urged, pulling her children into their house. The door slammed shut, but the sound of chaos filled the air. They could hear the soldiers shouting orders, the screams of their neighbors, and the sounds of destruction. Mia pressed her face against the window, her heart pounding in her chest. Through the glass, she saw a soldier kicking down the door of their neighbor's house. The door flew off its hinges, and the soldier stormed inside. Mia's breath caught in her throat. She wanted to cry out, but fear held her back. She felt helpless, trapped in her own home while the world outside crumbled. Suddenly, a loud bang echoed through the air, followed by the sound of shattering glass. A blast had hit their home. Mia's heart sank as she watched the flames grow. Panic filled the room as her mother tried to protect them. "We have to go now," Sarah yelled, her voice filled with urgency. They ran towards the back door, but it was too late. The soldiers burst into the house, their weapons drawn. Mia froze in fear, clutching her brother's hand tightly. She could see the rage in the soldier's eyes as he pointed his weapon at them. "You're coming with us!" he barked. In that moment, Mia felt a chill run down her spine. She could see her mother's bravery as she stood in front of her children, ready to protect them at all costs. "You will not take my kids!" Sarah shouted defiantly. But the soldier was unmoved. With a quick motion, he grabbed Mia and Alex, separating them from their mother. "No!
Let us go!"
Mia screamed, reaching out for her mother. But the soldier dragged them away, pulling them into the chaos outside. Mia turned back, tears streaming down her cheeks as she watched her mother fight against the soldiers. Sarah's screams echoed in her ears, but they were soon drowned out by the sounds of explosions and the cries of others. As the soldiers led Mia and Alex away, they looked back one last time. Their home was engulfed in flames, and the village was in ruins. The Empire had shown no mercy. In that moment, Mia's heart shattered. She felt a deep rage inside her, a burning desire to fight back against the evil that had taken everything from her. Little did she know, this tragedy would spark a flame in the hearts of many. The survivors would not forget what happened today. They would rise up, united in their determination to fight back against the Galactic Empire and protect their home. After the horrific attack on New Hope, the Galactic Empire left behind chaos and destruction. The few survivors were left to mourn their loved ones and rebuild their shattered lives. Among them were Mia and her little brother, Alex. They had been taken from their mother and placed in a cold, dark holding cell along with other captured humans. Each day felt like an eternity as they waited, hoping for rescue. One day, while the guards were distracted, Mia and Alex managed to escape. They ran through the empty halls of the Empire's base, heart racing with every step. They didn't know where they were going, but they had to get away. Suddenly, they stumbled into a large, dimly lit room filled with strange machines and frozen figures inside glass tubes. It was an old cryogenic facility, forgotten by time. Mia looked around in wonder, her fear momentarily forgotten. "What is this place?" she whispered, pulling Alex close. I don't know, Alex replied, wide-eyed, but it looks important. Just then, a group of humans entered the room. They were dressed in worn-out uniforms and looked tired but determined. The leader, a tall man with a grizzled beard named Commander Harris, noticed the children. Hey, you two shouldn't be here. This place is dangerous! Mia's heart sank. We were taken by the Empire. We need help, she pleaded. Harris's expression softened. We've all lost something to the Empire, but you must trust us. We are working to revive the greatest warriors of humanity. He motioned for the children to follow him. As they walked through the facility, Harris explained their plan. Years ago, these super soldiers were created to protect Earth. They fought bravely, but were placed in cryogenic sleep to save them from falling into enemy hands. Now we need to wake them up. They are our only hope. Mia's eyes widened in amazement. Super soldiers? Can they help us fight the Empire? Absolutely, Harris replied with a firm nod. But we need time. We must work quickly before the Empire realizes we are here. In the following days, the survivors worked tirelessly, using old equipment to restart the cryogenic process. Mia and Alex watched in awe as scientists monitored the tubes, waiting for signs of life. Each time a tube hissed, they held their breath, hoping for a miracle. Finally, after what felt like forever, the first tube began to glow. The glass fogged up, then cleared. Inside, a tall soldier with short-cropped hair began to stir. He blinked and looked around, confused. Where am I? The soldier asked, his voice deep and strong. You're safe now, Harris said, stepping forward. You are in a secret base, and we need your help to fight the Empire. The soldier's expression changed as he remembered. The Empire. They destroyed everything we fought for. His eyes narrowed with determination. I will fight! One by one, more soldiers awakened. Each soldier had their own story, their own reason to fight back against the Empire. Mia felt a rush of hope as she saw them stand tall and proud, ready to reclaim their lost world. But the awakening came with challenges. Some soldiers struggled to adapt to the new technology and the reality of the Empire's oppression. This is not the world we knew, one soldier said, shaking his head in disbelief. How could we let it come to this? Mia stepped forward, her small frame brimming with courage. You can help us! You can make a difference! They took my mother and destroyed my home. If you fight for us, we can stop them together. The soldiers looked at each other, inspired by the bravery of the young girl. They felt the fire of hope igniting in their hearts. She's right, Harris said. We must train, and we must prepare for battle. We owe it to our fallen families and to the future. With renewed determination, the soldiers began training. They taught Mia and Alex some basic combat skills, too. It wasn't just about fighting, it was about standing up for what was right. The children learned quickly, finding strength in their fear and pain. As days turned into weeks, the once empty facility buzzed with life and purpose. The warriors were awakening not just from sleep, but from despair. Together, they formed a new alliance, ready to fight against the tyranny of the Galactic Empire. The spark of rebellion was ignited, and Mia knew that their time to act was coming soon. They would not just be survivors, they would be heroes. The base buzzed with energy as the awakened super soldiers prepared for their mission. Each day, the training sessions became more intense. Commander Harris led the training, showing everyone how to fight and work together. Mia and Alex watched, their eyes wide with excitement and determination. They were part of something bigger now. Every morning, the sun rose over the base, casting a warm light on the training grounds. Soldiers practiced hand-to-hand combat, learning to fight without weapons. They sparred against each other, pushing themselves to be stronger and faster. Mia and Alex often joined in, eager to learn. One day, as Mia trained with a soldier named Ava, she asked, "How did you become a super soldier?" Ava smiled, wiping sweat from her brow. "We were chosen for our skills, bravery, and loyalty. We were trained to protect humanity from threats like the Empire. But now it's our turn to fight again." Mia nodded, feeling inspired. "I want to help too. I may be small, but I can be brave." Ava chuckled softly. "Bravery isn't about size. It's about your heart. And your heart is stronger than you think." Meanwhile, Alex was working with another soldier, a burly man named Jake. Jake taught him how to handle a small weapon and how to aim accurately. "You need to stay calm, kid," he advised. "Focus on your target. It's about patience and control." Alex took a deep breath, holding the weapon firmly. "I will do my best, Jake. for Mia and everyone else. As the days passed, the training sessions grew more intense. The soldiers practiced using new weapons, including advanced rifles and explosives. They learned to navigate through obstacles and handle different combat scenarios. Each soldier pushed themselves beyond their limits, driven by the desire to avenge their lost loved ones and protect the innocent. One evening, after a long day of training, Commander Harris gathered everyone in the main hall. The room was filled with tired but determined faces. "We need to make a plan," he said. "The Empire is strong and they will not let us strike without a fight. We must hit them where it hurts." He spread out a map of the region on a large table. The map showed different locations of Empire bases and supply routes. "Our first target is the supply base near the forest. They store weapons and food there. If we take it out, we will weaken their strength and gain much-needed resources." The soldiers nodded, sharing glances filled with determination. Mia raised her hand, surprising everyone. "Can I help? I know the forest well. I can guide you through it." Harris smiled at her courage. "Of course, Mia. Your knowledge is valuable, but you must stay safe. This mission will be dangerous." Mia nodded, understanding the risks but refusing to back down. "I can do it. I won't let you down." The team worked hard to prepare for the mission. They strategized late into the night, planning their approach. They would go in quietly, using the cover of darkness. Each soldier was assigned a role, and they practiced their movements until they felt confident. The day of the mission arrived. The sun set, casting shadows over the base as the soldiers gathered in their gear. Mia felt a mix of excitement and fear. She looked at Alex, who smiled at her, trying to show his support. "Are you ready?" she asked him. "I'm ready," Alex replied, his eyes shining with determination. With that, they set off into the night. The super soldiers moved stealthily through the trees, guided by Mia's knowledge of the land. She led them to the supply base, her heart pounding in her chest. As they reached the outskirts of the base, Mia's heart raced. She could see the guards patrolling the area, unaware of the storm that was about to hit them. Harris signaled everyone to stop. He turned to the team, his voice steady. "Remember our training. Stay focused. We fight for each other and for our homes." With a deep breath, Mia felt the weight of the moment. She was no longer just a scared child. She was part of something powerful, a group ready to stand against the darkness. As they moved closer, Mia whispered, "Let's do this." The soldiers nodded, their eyes filled with determination. Together, they took their first steps into battle, ready to show the Galactic Empire that humanity would not be crushed. They would rise up, united and strong. The training had prepared them, and now it was time to unleash their fury. The night was quiet as the group approached the Empire's supply base. The moon hung low, casting a silver glow over the landscape. Mia led the way, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and excitement. She glanced back at the soldiers behind her, each one ready and focused. This was it, their first chance to strike back against the Galactic Empire. Harris moved quietly beside Mia, his expression serious. "Remember, we need to be silent. If we alert the guards, we'll lose the element of surprise." Mia nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility. She guided the team to the side of the base, using the shadows to conceal their movements. They reached a small, unguarded entrance at the back, hidden behind some crates. "Good job, Mia," Harris whispered. "Let's go inside." One by one, the soldiers slipped through the entrance, entering the dimly lit storage area. The scent of metal and oil filled the air. The room was packed with crates, each marked with the Empire's insignia. This was where they stored weapons, food, and supplies, everything they needed to maintain control. Harris raised a hand to signal the team to stop. "We need to plant explosives on the main storage unit. That will destroy their supplies and cause chaos," he instructed. As the soldiers moved to set the explosives, Mia's eyes darted around, taking in every detail. She spotted a security camera in the corner of the room. "Wait! There's a camera!" she whispered urgently. Harris quickly assessed the situation. "Jake, take it out." Jake nodded and crept toward the camera, using a small device to disable it. "It's done. We're clear," he said, returning to the group. With the camera disabled, they quickly set to work planting explosives on the crates filled with weapons. Mia could feel the tension in the air. The soldiers were focused, their eyes sharp with determination. Every second counted. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed in the hallway outside. The guards were coming. Mia's heart raced as she looked at Harris, who signaled everyone to hide behind the crates. "Stay quiet," he whispered. The footsteps grew louder, and Mia held her breath. A pair of guards entered the room, chatting casually. "I heard some strange noises earlier," one guard said. "Maybe it was just the wind." "Yeah, probably," the other replied. "But we should check it out. Can't be too careful." Mia's heart raced as they drew closer. She could see the guards' faces clearly now. They were young, just like her and Alex, but they wore the Empire's uniform with pride. She wished they could understand the truth. The Empire was not protecting them, it was using them. As the guards approached, Jake moved silently, positioning himself behind one of them. In one swift motion, he struck, taking the guard down without a sound. The second guard turned, startled. Before he could call for help, Ava tackled him to the ground. "Let's move!" Harris shouted, and the team sprang into action. The soldiers quickly subdued the guards, their training kicking in. Mia watched in awe as they worked together seamlessly, moving like a well-oiled machine. With the guards dealt with, they quickly finished planting the explosives. "We need to get out of here," Harris urged. "Once we detonate, they'll know we're here." Mia felt a surge of adrenaline as they made their way back to the entrance. Just as they reached the door, a loud alarm blared throughout the base. Red lights flashed, and the sound of boots pounding on the ground filled the air. "Run!" Harris yelled. The team dashed through the narrow halls, adrenaline fueling their escape. They moved quickly, dodging soldiers who rushed to the scene. Mia stayed close to Harris, her heart racing as they neared the exit. As they burst through the door, Mia glanced back at the base. The soldiers were already responding to the alarm, confusion spreading among them. They had caused chaos, just as they had planned. Harris turned to Mia. "Get ready to run, everyone! We'll detonate the explosives from a safe distance." They sprinted toward the cover of the trees, the sounds of shouting and footsteps growing fainter behind them. When they were a safe distance away, Harris signaled to stop. "Now!" he shouted, pressing the detonator. A massive explosion rocked the ground, sending debris flying into the air. Flames erupted from the base, illuminating the night sky. Mia's eyes widened in shock and awe as they watched the Empire's supplies go up in flames. The soldiers cheered, their spirits lifted by the success of their first strike. Mia felt a rush of triumph, knowing they had struck a blow against the Empire. They had shown that they would not be silenced, that they would fight for their freedom.
"We did it!"
Alex exclaimed, his face lighting up with excitement. "Yes, we did," Harris replied, a proud smile on his face. "But this is just the beginning. We must keep fighting and awaken more of our people. We are stronger together." As the team gathered together, they felt a newfound sense of hope. They were not just a group of survivors, they were a resistance, ready to stand up against the darkness. Their journey had just begun, and they would continue to fight until they were free. The sun rose on the horizon, casting a golden light over the forest. Mia and the soldiers gathered at their base, their spirits high after their successful mission. They had struck a blow against the Galactic Empire, but they knew the fight was far from over. The Empire would retaliate, and they needed a plan for the final confrontation. Commander Harris stood at the front, a map spread out on the table before them. "After the explosion, the Empire is going to come looking for us. We have to hit them hard before they regroup," he explained, pointing to a location on the map. "This is their main base. If we take it out, we can cripple their operations." Mia felt a rush of determination. "But how do we get past their defenses? They will be ready for us." Ava, standing beside her, replied, "We'll use our knowledge of the area. We can sneak in through the back and avoid their main patrols. We must be smart and silent." Everyone nodded, their expressions serious. They had trained hard for this moment, and now it was time to put their skills to the test. Harris assigned roles, ensuring everyone knew their part. Mia would lead the team through the forest, guiding them to the weak points of the base. As night fell, they set out. The forest was alive with sounds, the rustling leaves, distant animal calls, and the crackling of twigs underfoot. Mia led the way, her heart racing with excitement and fear. She could feel the weight of their mission pressing down on her. After a long journey through the trees, they arrived at the outskirts of the Empire's base. The tall walls loomed above them, and the guards patrolled the area, their flashlights sweeping back and forth. Mia felt a mix of fear and adrenaline. This was it, the moment they had prepared for. "Remember, stay quiet and stick to the plan," Harris whispered, his voice low but firm. The team moved stealthily, using the shadows to their advantage. They crept along the perimeter, watching the guards as they passed. Mia's heart pounded in her chest as they reached the back of the base. She could see a small entrance, just big enough for them to slip through. "Here," she whispered, pointing to the door. They huddled close, and Jake carefully opened the door. It creaked loudly, making everyone freeze for a moment. But no one noticed. They slipped inside, closing the door quietly behind them. The room was dark, filled with the hum of machinery. Mia could see rows of crates stacked high against the walls. "Let's split up and plant explosives on their main systems," Harris instructed. "We need to disrupt their communications and weapons." Mia nodded, and the group divided into smaller teams, moving quickly to their assigned spots. Mia, Alex, and Ava made their way toward the communications room. They knew if they could cut off the Empire's ability to call for help, they would have the upper hand. As they crept through the hallways, they spotted a group of guards ahead. Mia's heart raced again. "We need to get past them without being seen," she whispered. "Let's wait for them to turn," Ava suggested, and they all pressed against the wall, holding their breath. When the guards finally turned away, Mia signaled for them to move. They dashed past, their hearts pounding. Just a few more steps, and they reached the communications room. Inside, Mia's eyes widened at the array of controls and screens. "This is it!" she exclaimed. Alex rushed to the console, quickly looking for the main power source. "I can plant the explosives here," he said, his hands shaking with excitement. "Do it fast!" Mia urged, glancing back toward the door. They couldn't afford to be caught now. Just as Alex finished, an alarm blared through the base. Red lights flashed, and the ground shook with the sound of footsteps rushing toward them. "We have to go," Mia shouted. They sprinted toward the exit, the alarm echoing in their ears. As they burst out into the main hall, chaos erupted. Soldiers were scrambling to respond to the breach, but Mia and her team knew they had to keep moving. "Back to the entrance!" Harris yelled, leading them through the maze of hallways. As they ran, they could hear the sounds of battle behind them. Their team was engaging with the Empire soldiers, fighting to cover their escape. They reached the back door, and Mia glanced back, her heart heavy with concern for her friends. "Come on!" Harris urged, pulling her through the door. They raced into the forest, the sounds of chaos fading behind them. They ran deeper into the trees, their hearts pounding in their chests. Finally, they stopped to catch their breath, looking back at the base. The explosion lit up the night sky, flames shooting high as the Empire's main systems went up in smoke. Mia felt a surge of triumph. They had done it. They had struck a powerful blow against the Empire. But even as they celebrated, a sense of seriousness hung in the air. They knew this was just the beginning. The fight was far from over, but together, they were ready to face whatever came next. They were not just survivors. They were warriors fighting for their freedom, and they would continue to stand against the Galactic Empire until victory was theirs.